Lai, 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 lai. 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 Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai.
Hine ma tov on page 126.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Page 127. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if we were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. Eli Chamda Libi on page 128, the next page.
Eilech hamda libi, Hosanna ve'alna tetalem. 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 Eilech hamda libi, Hosanna ve'alna tetalem.
Yismachu Hashamayim, page 131. The second paragraph at the bottom of the page.
Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam, hayam, yeram hayam, umelo.
In Lachado D, page 138.
Lechadodi likat kala, yalala, 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 Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likat kala, yalala, 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 Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Shambo v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmianu elam yuchad, Adonai echad, u'shmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lechadodi likat kala, yalala, 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 Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likat kala, yalala, 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 Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki makor habracha. Merosh mikedem nesorcha, sof ma'aseh b'machashava techila. Lechadodi likat kala, yalala, 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 Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likat kala, yalala, 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 Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki va'orer kumi uri, 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 shiadaberi, kevod Adonai, alayech nigla. Lechadodi likrat kala, yalala, 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 Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala, yalala, 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 Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvetzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala, Lechadodi likrat kala, yalala, 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 Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala, yalala, 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 Bnei Shabbat nekabela.
And Stephanie and David, I'd love to welcome you both to come and light our Shabbat candles in honor of your birthdays. Your birthdays, I know, are not quite right now. It's an error in our system, and you've mentioned that to us a few times, so we do say that in jest at the moment. But with a bit of seriousness, as you do light this candle, it's of hope, but it's also of memory, and we do announce the death or the finding of 3 more hostages that were found today, and I will mention their names of Michelle Nissenberg and Hanania Blanca and Orion Hernandez. Their bodies were found in Jabalia and have been returned to their families, so at least their families, while sad, have a sense of peace and Shabbat, that they are reunited, and this candle is for them. And please don't burn your fingers as you light the Shabbat candles. Amen. And let's take a moment wishing one another Shabbat Shalom. And to those online, Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for joining us. as we are seated, just for one melody, Shabbat Shalom Rivka, we turn to page 142 for Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'chem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedrim l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We turn over one page and let us rise for the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועל מה דיברת ירצה וימליך מלכותי, בחייך וביומך ולבהר כל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתברך ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתברך ויתעלה ויתהלך, שמי קודשך ברכו, לעילא מכל בחטא ושירתה, קדוש בחטא עינך אימתה, תמירן בעמך, ואמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך
The Ma'ariv Aravim, the blessing to bring about the evening on page 148. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chokhmah poteach sha'arim, ובתבונה משנה עתים ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמורותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולה אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור, ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדבריך. Eloheinu l'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam, Leolam
You may
Vaed.
be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו עשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, Adonai Elohim Emet.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, and that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. There is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nida b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, malchutach ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam ze Elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar ki vad Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo mivad azak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai God Yisrael.
And let's share the song to shelter us beneath God's wings, the true shelter of peace.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Hamidenu Malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Hamidenu Malkeinu lechaim.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu va'al kol amo Yisrael va'al Yerushalayim. And Vishamru on page 162, recognizing how it is important for us to keep Shabbat.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Let us rise for the Amidah on page 164. And as we usually do on a Friday night in Erev Shabbat, we'll chant the first three blessings out loud together, and then we'll continue silently coming together with Oseh Shalom, a song of peace, on page 180.
Adonai sefata tefta ufia gitelatecha. Adonai sefata tefta ufia gitelatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, חסד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רק להושיע. משיח הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מצליח השמש ומוריד הטל, מחבר חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צורך נופלים ורופא גאולים, ומציע אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשכני עפר. Mele ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, בחיי הכל.
אתה קדוש בשמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהלו בסלע, ברוך אתה אדוני, בחיי הקדוש. We continue silently. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך, Adonai Tzuri v'goali. May the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. נעשה שלום, נעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. נעשה שלום, נעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. נעשה שלום, נעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. נעשה שלום, נעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
ועל כל יושבי תבל, may God bring peace to the entire world. And let us say, Amen. How many of us, and I will include myself in this statement, because I will admit that perhaps I have done what I'm going to share with you. How many of us have gone into a store, a shop, whether it is a computer store, a Harvey Norman type store, a furniture store, and we've looked around and we've given the impression that we're going to buy that, and then for some of us who are a bit younger, we either stand in the store searching on our phone for a cheaper product, or we've gone home looking for that cheaper product. Everybody. What if I said to you that if you did that, you are bad Jews? You are bad, bad, bad Jews. No. 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 Let me tell you why you are bad, bad, bad Jews. Because it says so in this week's Torah portion. Because if you go into a store and you give the impression to the salesperson that you are keen, even if it's a car salesperson, and they're the worst, right? Let's face it. No, I'm kidding. Hopefully there's no car salesman here. Huh? Solar panel. They're the new car salesman, right? Because what you are doing according to Torah and according to this week's Torah portion, and you're giving the impression and you're saying, yes, I'm keen, tell me more, I'm really keen. Oh, yes, and is this your best deal? And yes, you get them down to the best price and then you go online and you get the cheaper price. What you have done according to Torah is misrepresent yourself. You've given them falsely and got their hopes up, especially if they work on commission, that they've got the deal. You've got their hopes up. You have misrepresented yourself. You have given a false impression of your actions to them. In a sense, what have you done to take it to another level? You lied. Yes, you've been dishonest. You've stolen the truth. Gonna make you think twice now, huh? Do the research before you go in, people. Nothing wrong with that. That's different, because if they know, then you're not misrepresenting yourself. But if they know and you tell them, you're not misrepresenting. Then you're saying to them, hey, dude, I've been on your website. This is not the price. This is not the same price. That's not misrepresenting. You're being honest, saying, look, you can do a better deal because I've seen on your website. That's different.
That's okay.
Yeah, because they got a price match policy. But what you're not allowed to do is you're not going to lie to them and say you're going to buy and really give them the impression. Right? You can't mislead somebody. Because what you're doing is you're misrepresenting yourself. You're being dishonest. So what happens to the standard? What happens to the standard of honesty? You're running a slippery slope here. Where's our ethics? Can't wait for your car ride home. But just think about it. Why do you think they came up with the price match policy? To deal with dishonest customers. You wouldn't say it like that? Or maybe this week I'm being a little bit too harsh. Come for tomorrow's sermon and we'll talk about my Maccabean article. You haven't read it? Read it. So the jury's out on whether or not it's good. The jury's out. But we'll talk about that tomorrow, because we'll talk about what was behind it. But that's tomorrow's. Because what's at stake with something like that when it's commission? And even if it's not commission, you're also dealing, so if it's not about commission, you're also dealing with somebody's self-esteem and confidence in sales, aren't you? Because it feels good when I don't know if has anybody been in sales here? It's self-esteem, isn't it? When somebody thinks they've made a sale. If you go into a store, doesn't matter where you go into a store, somebody feels good when they've sold you something, even if they don't make commission. They've achieved something. They've got trust me. I was in sales, and I didn't make commission, especially not working for my father. It always felt good when I was able to sell something or sell a little bit more than what the customer expected to buy. Right? With even just something small, because they walked out happy. It's this idea of honesty. Is it easier to be honest or is it easier to be dishonest? Easier to be honest because it's hard to remember lies, isn't it? That's another can of worms. That's another sermon. And it's really interesting with Noah at the moment as she's starting to figure out at 4.5. You should have heard me trying to teach her the difference between everything is, she said, "Oh, you're just tricking me, Emma." I said, "No, I'm joking." She's trying to understand right now the difference between a joke and a trick when you're tricking. And this is that age, this is that thing, it's like to be that understand what does it mean to be honest, to tell a lie. And it's about our behavior, it's ingrained in us. We want to be wise, we want to save money. Perhaps it is a Jewish thing, but I think it's a human thing. We don't want to pay too much for anything. We also don't want to be taken advantage of. And that's a fear, that's a human fear. We don't want to be taken advantage of. That's a natural thing. But there's a balance between being taken advantage of. That's why we do our homework before we go in. We do the research online before we go in, and now we can see prices online. Right, Sarah? Yeah? And then we go in. But is it worth lying for a difference of $10 or $20? Everything. Something in the water. But it's the rain, possibly. But the point is that the Torah is very specific, that sometimes we don't always think, we would imagine that misrepresenting ourselves, we don't even think about it. We're just, something like this, the Torah has been very specific about. Don't misrepresent yourself. Online dating is a big issue in this space. There's that, what they call catfishing. If you don't know what catfishing is, I'll explain that to you after services. There's a lot of CSIs and that kind of stuff on catfishing. That's a very big issue. But it's also in any kind of business, whether it's a lot of it seems to be in sales with misrepresenting. I think there's a lot of religions that misrepresent themselves as well, and what they really stand for. A lot of ministers of religion misrepresent themselves too, and give religion a bad name. And maybe on that note, I'll just wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. I'm going to invite you all to rise for Sfirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer. This is very exciting for me to count the Omer tonight, because tomorrow is Lag BaOmer, the 33rd of Omer. And don't forget, you're all invited, and I expect to see you all at my house, except Judith, who's going to be dancing on tables, apparently. But please feel free. If you haven't yet let me know you're coming, please feel free to come to the Lag BaOmer event at my house. I just want to know, and Gina, she's scared of fire, so she will be inside watching TV. No. But everybody's welcome. Please come along to Lag BaOmer at my house. If you don't have my address, I'll give you my address. You're all most welcome to come along at 5:30. So let's count the Omer. Hineni Muchan Uzmuman L'Kayem Mitzvah says Shel Sfirat HaOmer on page 570. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kidishanu B'Mitzvotav V'Tzivanu Al Sfirat HaOmer. Hayom Shnaim Ushloshim Yom Shehem Arba Shavuot V'Arba Yamim LaOmer. Today is the 32nd day, which is 4 weeks and 4 days of the Omer. Amen. And let us turn to page 586 to Aleinu. And David and Stephanie, I had you down for that as well. Unless you want to handball it to somebody else. But you're welcome to come on up. We remain standing. Part of your birthday surprise. Or you misrepresenting yourself?
You see what we wouldn't do.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שהוא נותן שמיים ויוצא את הארץ, ומושך יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בכוחי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אינות, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני שהוא נותן שמיים ויוצא לארץ, ומושך יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בכוחי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אינות, אל מלכנו את גדולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעתו יום ולהשיבותו אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, השמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מטווח העינות, ונאמר ואוי אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
And so now we turn to the mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish Yatom. Which is on page 598. And many of the names that I share with you tonight, a part of Shiva, are, most of them except for one, all of them except for one, are hostages that have been laid to rest or who have been found in this last week. One hostage I'll make particular mention of is Ron Benjamin, who's related to Robin Benjamin, if you know Robin Benjamin, part of this congregation. And so we announce the passing of, for Shiva, and some of the names we mentioned last week. Ron Benjamin, Uriah Shachar, a name shared with us by Chevra Kadisha. Shani Luke, Amit Buskila, Itzhak Gelarenta, Michelle Nissenberg, Hanania Blanca, and Orion Hernandez. And Orion Hernandez and Shani Luke, they were partners. And for the Shloshim, we remember Ronald Hoyster, Sergeant Ido Aviv, Charles Kerr, Brian Sadiq, and John Maloney. And the yard sites, the anniversaries of whose death fall on this Shabbat. We remember May Carsenti, sister-in-law of Alison Loon, Alistair Davidson, father of Neil and father-in-law of Gina, Reg Williams, father of Bernie Williams, Paul Bryant, father of Helen Bryant and father-in-law of Harry Cameron Shepherd, Eric Patterson, husband of Ruth Patterson, Miriam Book, great-grandmother of Clive Cass, Yaakov Buchalter, uncle of Brenda Mao, Bertha of Ezekiel, mother of Don Ezekiel, Alan Peter Chenick, brother-in-law of Joanne Chenick, Morris Foreman, friend of Ray Findlay in this congregation, and Richard Parker, father of Dan Parker. If you'd like to mention a loved one for Shiva, for Shloshim, for Yahrzeit, I invite you to share your loved ones' names at this time. Zecher Tzadik Livacha. May the memory of the righteous truly be for a blessing as we remember all the names we shared tonight, along with all who have lost loved ones through this tragedy of war in Israel and Gaza and around the world. Because there are wars that are going on that we just don't talk about and we just don't mention because of where our hearts and our minds are focused on this moment. And so we share together. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yibrach hiritei v'yamlich malchutei, chai achon v'yom echon, v'v'chayed achol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'isman kariv v'yimaru.
Amen.
Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach l'olam l'amei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitada v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kodesha.
Brechu.
לעולם מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו.
Amen.
יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו.
Amen.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו. המקום ינחם לכם בתוך שאהב ציון וירושלים. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved in Zion and Jerusalem and around the world, and we say, Amen. As we are seated, just a couple of announcements. I've already mentioned the Lag BaOmer event at my home tomorrow night. My address is 54 Shannon Road, if you don't already have it, in Dianella. And so feel free, come along 5:30. We got TDRS tomorrow as per normal. Last week's Netzer event was amazing, whether it was the Shabbat service or the sleepover on Saturday morning. It was just amazing. It was fantastic. But TDRS back to normal, 9:45, and Shabbat services as normal tomorrow morning, and coffee club straight after services. Mahjong on Monday. Shaliach Tzipor class. David, you coming? It's 3 or 4. I know you're loving it. 6:30 on Monday night. You're in that too, Jeff. Jeffrey, aren't you? Tuesday night, Shaliach on Tuesday night. Yeah, great. Wednesday, Schmooze Club, an Italian feast with the wonderful band Sounds of Israel. Can't wait for that. It's my once a month feed for lunch. Always get a bit of lunch. And we got that night ITJ and Hebrew and Jewish Studies, Torah Tea and Text on Thursday. And then don't forget Professor Gordon at UWA with nanotechnology and what it is, why it's important, and how our basic advances at UWA being translated to industrial scale high impact production. Super, super important. Jeffrey, I've got to give my apologies because that is child time. And if I'm not there, and if I'm there, then I'm not with Noah 3 nights in a row because I've got Tuesday and Wednesday, so I give my apologies. And don't forget Shavuot coming up on the 1st of June. Stay tuned. It's going to be amazing, amazing night, including ice cream making. If you want to learn how to make ice cream.
I just realised I put the wrong date. It's 11th.
11th of June. Yeah. Not the 1st, the 11th of June. We're on tonight, aren't we?
Yeah.
All right, our final song, and then don't forget to go in for Kiddush, is the one and only Adon Olam.
By special request, page 625. We do take requests. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem kol Yetzir nivra letnasa, V'refzo kol Azai Melech, Shamonika Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem kol Yetzir nivra letnasa, V'refzo kol Azai Melech, Shamonika Adon Olam, ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא אדון עולם, והוא היה, והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם, אדון עולם, אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לתנסה, ברחצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם, והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשלו לכך ברא אדון עולם, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא עוז והמזרע אדון עולם, אדון עולם, אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לתנסה, וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם, והוא אלי וחי גולי, בצור חבלי בעת צרה אדון עולם, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא אדון עולם, אדון עולם, אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לתנסה, וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם, בידו הפקיד רוחי, בעת תישן ביעירה אדון עולם, ועם רוחי גבייתי, אדון לי ולא אירא אדון עולם, אדון עולם, אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לתנסה, וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם.
שבת שלום.